version of Hill of Justice. If anyone is out there, if you could just please go ahead and set us a chat, or even in chat, you can go ahead and give us a little shout out, or even text us to know that you're able to receive us at this point in time. As you know, when it comes down to live shows, anything can happen. So there could be any type of technical difficulties. We want to go ahead and preface that ahead of time. Any of one of our we're just different states and so on and so forth. So any one of our internet can go down. Somebody will have to go ahead and take the lead on that. But I just wanted to see if anybody in the chat was able to go ahead and can you hear us correctly? Can you see us more importantly? Alrighty. See over here. Guys, guys. We're going to okay. Alrighty. We're going to kind of put us through the paces today. And the reason being is that I got something that's really heavy, and it's really heavy for a lot of people right now. And it's heartbreaking, you know. We're either uncles, fathers, stepfathers, to a lot of individuals. And thus, we got something that is very powerful that we're going to have to bring up. And I want to get your takes on it. And then we're going to go ahead and break this down. A search for a missing teen, a family's desperate hope. But sometimes those searches for answer leads to a unjoyous moment. And we found a grim discovery yesterday, deep in the wilderness. And the mystery of what happened to Giovanni Pelletier has just taken the darkest turn that it could. And just to give you some backdrop, last week, the 18-year-old from North Carolina who vanished during a car ride with his cousins in Florida, the initial story that was that he began acting erratically and walked into the woods. But yesterday, that search came to a tragic end. And so I want to go ahead and play a clip for you guys, and then let's go ahead and talk about this. It's pretty heartbreaking, and quite truthfully, we're going to break it down in a law enforcement perspective. Whereas we like to get a little bit of your insight and what you think from your perspective on things. And let's go ahead and take a look at this clip.
Nadine Yanis, thank you for joining us tonight. We do begin with developing news on this Saturday, as Manatee County Sheriff's Office says evidence shows the body found in a pond in Bradenton yesterday is that of 18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier. This was the teen who went missing while on vacation here last week. ABC Action News reporter Annette Gutierrez is here with the latest.
A missing person case has turned into a death investigation. Giovanni's family made a post confirming the body found yesterday is him. And so did this group, We Are the Essentials. You can see their Facebook post has thousands of views, with many people wanting to know the update on this missing teen. And again, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office is calling this a preliminary identification of Giovanni, saying there's enough evidence on scene that leads investigators to believe the body found yesterday is him. But they were waiting on an autopsy to confirm this, which is scheduled to happen tomorrow. Family, friends, and community members all came together to search for Giovanni, who went missing almost a week ago, while visiting family in Charlotte County. We Are the Essentials, a nonprofit of private investigators who helps search for missing people, took on the case. They tell us while the family has some sense of closure, this is not the outcome they wanted.
This is devastating. This family's been through a lot the past week. I guess it's they have some closure at this time. Obviously, now the why is what they're wondering.
Coming up tonight at 11, we'll have more about what the nonprofit has to say about this tragic outcome. But for now, reporting in studio, Annette Gutierrez, ABC Action News.
Guys, let me get out of here, but it's sad all the way around. And you know, of course, now we're at a crucial place with this information in a law enforcement perspective. But um, I mean, of course, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he was murdered 100% with the facts that I got. But I'm going to swing past to you, Keith, with the facts that we know as of right now. And then we're going to bring in the element and Wiz. I want you to come in on to two and go from there. But brother, what's on your mind right there?
Well, you know, it's no secret. I was in homicide for 10 years. So the first thing in a situation like this is his body was found in water, correct?
That I'm not entirely clear of. It suggests that.
Okay. Well, if it was found in water, well, the autopsy is always crucial. But the main thing is we want to know if there was water in his lungs.
Well, time
That
out.
tells
You know
us,
what? They said that his body was in decomp, so it probably wasn't in
okay,
that sense.
okay,
Okay, you know what I'm saying?
all right,
So if it's decomp, I'm thinking it's outside where the water was, but had
okay.
some exposure to the elements.
Well, that changes the game. We always
Right.
want to know if there's water in the lungs because you have to be alive to have water in the lungs. So that may you were trying to breathe and the water got in there.
Right.
So if the water is not in the lungs, we know it's another cause of death, and you were dead before you were thrown in the water. Same thing in a fire. We find a body in a fire. If there's no smoke or soot inside the lungs, then we know that person was dead before the fire actually started, and that fire could be something that was done to cover up how the person really died, to cover up evidence. But that's my first thought there. You know, it's hard uh based on what that little news report right now. If that's the all the information, it's kind of hard because it could be anything. And I think you got some additional information, but right now it's just a person found, so it could be anything. It could be a murder, it could be a suicide, it could be a natural death. But I think you got some other information that's why you're feeling that you're leaning towards a murder. And
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and let the Woods comment from here. We'll come back around to you.
Okay.
Yeah, man. It's funny because just as a viewer, it didn't say murder to me. But as a family member, I know that feeling of not knowing. And I've experienced that, and I've been around people who just experienced when you have those unknowns, you jump to those kind of conclusions as well. So in other words, I can kind of see it from both ways. Just looking at that news report, I didn't get a lot from that news report. Um, it said he was missing for a week.
Correct.
So and that he was found, um, that he had passed away. So that's all I got from that news report, really. But I can imagine there being a lot of questions, and when it's someone you love, you filling it in. Again, I don't know anything about the kid personally, so I don't. The family can be going through. Hey, he usually doesn't do this, or he usually calls, or you know, probably a lot more going on that's producing more questions. So I can see it from that way as well. You know what I'm saying? Knowing y'all profession, Rome, you saying that it's a possible murder, or that's where you're leaning. You got me thinking about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm being honest, when I first saw it, it didn't strike me that way yet.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you all the backdrop and why I'm leaning towards this way. Um, Giovanni was on vacation with his stepdad and mother. At that point in time, he had been in contact with his dad's side of the family, um, getting to know them on that mainly through text. I think they may have done FaceTime a couple times. So he really hadn't met his father's side of the family. And there were three cousins that were willing to go ahead and pick him up to go ahead and see him. The problem was, just to give you the facts of it, Giovanni was, of course, on the first with his cousins, and picked them up for a 3 hour drive to the residence in Orlando. You know, and some point during the drive, Giovanni allegedly began to act erratically. and the nature of his behavior hasn't been specified yet, and thus, but didn't have any behavior like that before that's known to us. Um, Afterwards, after following this behavior that they said he exited the vehicle on a rural road. He doesn't know where he's at, and so of course the exact location is going to be the primary focus of the search, where they were able to go ahead and find his cell phone and a backpack. But it was odd because approximately 20 minutes after exiting the vehicle, Giovanni sends a message to his mother asking for help. Mom, can you help me? And so they did an active search, and that's when they found the items. And thus the family offered a $10,000 reward. They know that he wasn't you know of the world. If he was protected as a young boy, as he should. So the last known individuals to see Giovanni were the three cousins that he had really didn't know very well at all. And what I'm why would they use the word erratic behavior? Why didn't they call anybody to explain that type of stuff? Um, in relation, they can do a geofence of these cousins, of all their cell phones, and get a approximate of where they are. So the GPS data is going to be out there. So, and alluding to what you were talking about, Keith, then we're talking about toxicology reports. We're going to be talking about, what was in that in the blood. Was he was he poisoned? Did he take anything that was maybe he was trying to fit in? Something is just totally off base with this, and it's just screaming all types of foul play on this.
I agree. I agree. So now that you add those facts in, I totally agree. And the cousins, did they ever call it in? Did they call the day it happened? Did they call the police and say, "Hey, he's not here"? Did they call anybody?
No, that
All
we
right.
know of.
Well,
You know,
well,
so I
yeah. Then
mean,
that's
you got a 20
yeah.
minute delay before he asked for help. That 20 minutes is going to be super crucial, because that 20 minutes mean to me that, hey, guess what? Somebody was trying to make a getaway. That's what that
Mm.
that's what 20 minutes means to me. So we got to put in the pieces with that. But the vehicle forensics, we have to do that, naturally. And so there's going to be a lot. Of course, the campus. I think the parents were upset or disappointed at the fact that the police didn't find the body, and yet this group was able to find it, with what they were doing. And thank
Mm.
and heads and much thanks and heads up to the private group that looks out for missing individuals and children, and thus that's where we're at. Now, 24 hours later, of the discovery of his body.
Yeah. So if they got good skilled detectives, and I'm sure they do, or I hope they do. The main thing is interrogation of those two who were with him. Also, they want to offer them polygraphs, and if they'll accept them, I'll be interested to see if what the results are, and if they don't accept them, I'll be
Mm.
interested to see what's their reason for not accepting the polygraphs as well. Uh, if it's what we think it is, it's not going to be that hard. It's going to be sloppy. The story is already sloppy, is what we think it is,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and the reason for that is this obviously isn't premeditated. Some type of altercation or something happened. Something went wrong. Obviously, he was able to escape for some period of time. That's why he was able to text, and
Mm.
somehow they were able to catch him.
Mm.
And so, in situations like that, that's what we refer to as there's a word for it, unorganized.
Right.
It's an unorganized crime, and unorganized crimes are very sloppy, and they're going to leave clues. Even though the
Mm.
body may be decontaminated, it's going to be very sloppy because there was some type of violence or something that had to be done to kill him. It's not like this is some sophisticated poisoning or anything like that.
Mm.
So the clues are going to be there.
Right. Right.
And I don't think it's going to be long before you're going to see someone in custody and get behind it.
I'm thinking the same thing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
He could have ingested anything, but with these type of investigations, a lot of people don't understand that we're going to go ahead and do a full medical makeup on him and a psychological profile on him also. So
Absolutely.
we'll find out what that looks like on his end to see if this was something could have been a psychological break, and then if that's the case, you got three individuals there. Why didn't you offer him help and assistance? Take him to a local
Mm-hmm.
hospital. Um, you know,
Hey,
come on now.
Angela just asked a good question. Is that our Angela?
No, 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 no,
That's
no,
on the
no,
okay.
no.
Okay, and but she just asked a good question. Have they been picked up for questioning yet?
That part of it I don't know, and quite truthfully, I would imagine that would
Mm-hmm.
be the way that they would go, and they're not going to go ahead and say anything about that just yet, because they're
Right.
probably closer to more what you were saying.
Yeah.
What this is giving off to me is we almost damn near solved this. We found the
Right.
body now. The
Mm-hmm.
body's going to go ahead and tell us everything that we need to know
Yeah.
on the back end of it, but we pretty much already have a good idea what's going on, and we've already talked to them, or we're going to talk to them, and even their admission says a lot in, in this too.
Now, I just want
Now,
to say one thing.
go
I
ahead.
apologize for the tardiness, fellas. I was in the middle of taping something, but I had to get over here to you guys about this
Yeah,
particular case.
that's around
Um,
your way, right?
yeah, I think this kid was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask how the cousins too. Do we know the age
Yeah,
of everybody?
yeah, I think they're like 18. I think one is like 19 or 20 or something like that. The
Mm,
school starts tomorrow.
mm,
That's why I'm blown away by the whole thing. When I was hearing about, like, wait a minute, he texted his mom saying that he needed help, and then she didn't hear nothing else from him after that.
right.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. Yeah. They did see
This
him.
is I don't even know what to say about this, man. This is absolutely ludicrous for something like this to happen to a young man that is just beginning to live his life,
Right.
and school
Mhm.
starting tomorrow.
Right.
You don't even hear
You
about
know
this
what
stuff
I?
up here in St. Cloud, man.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know what I'm curious about? Okay, he was on his way to see his father, correct? That he,
Hmm.
I'm not quite sure if he was going to see his father. He's his father's family, and I think
I
his
think that's what
cousins.
happened. I think this
Yeah.
was going to be because I think
Mm,
his dad's family was having something. I think before, I guess back to school or whatever,
Mm.
some little, I guess a little get together. And
did it
all I
say what the
heard,
relationship with the father is?
no,
It wasn't that good. I mean,
no.
I think his father wasn't a very present person in his life, so he was getting
Oh,
to
okay,
find out
okay.
about them in that side of the family.
Hmm.
Mm,
Absolutely sad, man.
mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
You know what? It is crazy. I hate it. I just listened to you guys' last show this morning. Me and Jay was talking about it. I listened to it
I couldn't
versus,
take it. I
well,
couldn't
I
take
didn't
it.
watch it. You know what I'm
Oh my
saying?
god.
I
Well,
don't know
really, yeah.
if I had watched it, if I had, my reaction might have been different because even the
Hmm.
audio I could see where trunk
Hmm.
opens, smells. Um, but just to sprinkle that trust thing is sprinkled
Yeah,
in this story as
yeah,
well, where you're trusting
yeah,
it with a family member, trusting your
yeah,
loved one,
yeah.
with someone you normally, even you don't know, like we're saying it in retrospect,
Hmm.
doesn't know the father well, didn't know the
Hmm.
cousins as well,
Hmm.
but I know in the past, definitely when I was growing up, because I was in a scenario where I didn't grow up with my father,
Hmm.
and I went with cousins and my uncles that I hadn't grown up with, but I
Hmm.
felt comfortable, and my mom felt comfortable with me being
Hmm.
around them. You know what I'm saying? So that trust, that's another aspect of this story that kind of, so far, that kind of sucks. You know what I mean?
Because you're
For
supposed to
lack of
be
a
in a
better
safe.
word.
You're supposed to be in a safe space around family, man.
Right.
No matter if you just met them or whatever. Once you know your family, I mean, I don't know. That's how it worked in my family. I
Mm.
guess I was fortunate or blessed enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I had cousins that I met while I was in high school. You know what I mean? And went
Right.
to,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And found out it was cousins. So like freaking uh, sophomore year of high school, we meet up at a freaking family barbecue. Like, wait a minute, your aunt's aunt? Like, oh
Right.
snap! You know what I mean? But that comfortability started like immediately. So you're in a
Right.
comfort zone when you're around your family. That's what
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
getting. So you let down some of those safeguards around your family. but to have to
Mhm.
go all the way right, like Jesus, like this kid is gone.
Yeah, yeah,
He's gone.
yeah.
Your last show was so powerful, bro. Like I
Mhm.
couldn't get through it. I couldn't get through it. I know some of them guys retired too from the night. Now some of them guys resigned. You know, uh, being over in Iraq twice, and I was talking to Kels about this offline. Um, I saw some things, man, and um, I had to do some things that I still have nightmares about because if I didn't do the things that I had to do, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine being an officer at that particular moment on that last case. I know we got a new case. I'm so sorry.
No, no, no.
I can't even
No, 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 no.
imagine being an officer or a duty officer at that moment, finding those kids like that,
So
bro.
I'm so glad that you brought that up because
Hmm.
even though the conversation is about the young man,
Yes, sir.
we've kind of dissected it already,
Hmm.
but you just
Hmm.
brought up something powerful that
Hmm.
we've been trying to dissect for a while,
Hmm.
and that's mental for the got homeless people or the other folks.
Hmm.
But when we talk about our veterans, when we talk
Hmm.
about police officers who are like veterans,
Hmm.
and we see the things that they see, and
Hmm.
I was a cop for longer than I care to admit.
Hmm.
And like I
Hmm.
say, 10 of those years were spent in homicide.
Hmm.
So I've seen a lot of things.
Hmm.
But, in light of the fact that we had a young man in the military shoot five of his fellow soldiers, what,
This
just
is
a
true.
week ago,
This is true.
um,
I
in
saw
light of
that
the
last week
fact
and broke down.
that we know for a fact that police, and I'm assuming military too,
Hmm.
has the highest divorce rate,
Yes, sir.
has the
Mhm.
highest alcohol and addiction rate.
Yep.
Maybe
Suicide
not
rate.
necessarily.
Hmm.
Yep,
Hmm.
suicide rate and everything like that. I think it's a real discussion. As a police officer,
Hmm.
you're screened mentally when you first come on,
Yes, yes, you are.
but how comprehensive is that? How effective is that? Because
Hmm.
there's some people who slipped through that I wonder how that happened.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Same thing
even
with
if
me.
they did pass it, then
Hmm.
after 6 months or a year of combat, or after 6 months or a year of seeing
Hmm.
uh car crashes with people killed and children killed
Hmm.
and beheaded or whatever, shot and mutilated, is their mental health the same
Hmm. I
at the
understand.
time they took that initial test? I know that in police work, they don't take another one unless they're ordered to, and usually that only happens with officer involved shooting. So
Hmm.
that being said, you're ex-military, man. You're in Afghanistan. I appreciate the fact that you were willing to even say what you said. Let
Hmm.
me let you take the bull by the horn and
Hmm.
lead us from here and give us some insight.
Mm.
On
Hey,
I can only I can tell you for me, um, especially coming home from the first couple of tours from Iraq, and like the first tour was I think the worst for me, because 06, 07, Iraq was still very, very, very hot. It still is now. I mean, it's not like it was, but them first 06 to probably about 2014, Iraq was off the wall, right? So just imagine going at the very beginning, those first couple of years in the 2000s, like between 05, oh 06, oh 07, it was off. It was really, you're really rocking and rolling almost every day you left the wire. So, um, I can remember coming home from that first tour. Like I said, that was the worst for me.
Hey, the audience wants you to speak up a little bit more because they can't
Oh,
hear
I'm
you that
sorry.
well.
Can you hear me now? Let me turn it. Am I up now?
yeah,
Am I
turn it up a
closer?
little
Okay.
bit.
So, um, from that first one, man, when I got home, I had been through so much, man. I had really thought about unaliving myself, man. And um, I remember getting home and I was driving in the middle of the road still because I got used to driving in the middle of the road when you're in Iraq because of the fact that the IEDs. So they told us to drive in the middle of the road. And I remember getting pulled over by a state police officer. And he saw my uniform, said, "Son, you okay?" I said, "Yes, sir. I'm just getting home, going to my parents' house for a couple of days, whatever, whatever." He said, "Do you know where you're going?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Do you know how you were driving?" I said, "I thought I was driving okay, sir. I hadn't made any drink. I was fine." He's like, "Listen, I know I got a buddy just got home a couple weeks ago. When I call you a tow truck, you can ride in the car with me in the front seat. Where you got to go?" That blew me away, first of all. So got home, boom. And those next couple of days, I don't think I slept, bro, for about 3 days. I was up. I would lay down, but I'd be wide open still. I'd still be wired because it's hard to turn it off. So I remember my uncle Bonk was a Vietnam vet, and he came to meet me at my parents' house. I was home. I'll never forget. He had a 6 pack of cords and said, "Neff, get in the car." So he went and talked, and the first thing he said to me was, "Just let it out." I'm looking at him like, "What?" He said, "Let it out. Just tell me what's on your mind. Tell me everything." And before I could even speak, bro, I was tears. I think I cried for about 20 minutes, man, because I was with somebody that understood because he went to Vietnam twice. So he understood what I was going through. So I say that to say this. It's like when you're trained as a cop or as a soldier, especially going into combat situations, they have you in robot zone. Really. I mean, it's no other way to say it. I mean, it's hard to turn it off sometimes. You're in robot zone where you have to be that way in order for you to get back to base at night or to get for a police officer to get back home at night. You we have to have that human factor at some point on our both respected positions as a police officer and as a soldier, but when you're in that training, you are a robot, and that's what they expect you to be. And even when I,
Mhm.
like I said, when I came home, I still didn't know how to get in touch with my emotions until I sat down with my uncle and my pastor.
Wish you ex-military too, right?
Yeah. I was about to say, and I worked in the medical group. Um, Worked in the hospital, so
Mm-hmm.
not to pretend that I'm a mental health expert at all,
Mm-hmm.
but even our in-house training, some of the trainings we had to do, some of the trainings we had to give, you
Mm-hmm.
got to think a lot of this is preventive.
Preventative measures.
And
Mm-hmm.
you're preparing someone. First of all, mental health therapy in general is a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
The person receiving the therapy, the person giving the therapy,
Mm-hmm.
all have to be uh, connected. And I have seen where if that person doesn't take it seriously, it's not going to work. And then
Yeah.
you have to have a professional paired up, in a personal life always. And I won't go too deep into it, but
Mm-hmm.
when I tell people when you're looking for a therapist, keep searching because somebody will be like, well, it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
That guy probably wasn't the right guy for
Yeah.
you. So in other words, not to go in that detail, but it's a symbiotic relationship that
Mm-hmm.
has to work, right? And even when I say that the person receiving it is not taking it seriously, I'm not saying he's an unserious person or he's blowing it off,
Mm-hmm.
but imagine preparing someone, even to tie it back to what Jay went through in an actual war zone where it's normalized. Like this is part of what he's saying. You trained a certain kind of way
Mm-hmm.
because they need you to normalize it because they don't need you to break.
To break.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
manipulative system, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But even police officers, going back to you guys' story yesterday, and I'm sure even these guys finding this kid's, it's a kid, you know what I'm saying, that you're
Yeah.
finding even in this story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you prepare somebody like for that? You know what I mean? So you're preparing. You can't tell somebody one day you're gonna find some bodies in the
A
trunk.
body.
You could
Right.
say, because Victor, I heard your aspect when you were even talking about car crashes and car accidents.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can prepare for that because we all saw, I'm sure, even before law enforcement, right? We all used to see those. We're old enough. I don't know if they do it now, but we saw the videos of
The Faces of
heads
Death
decapitated
movies
and
and all that stuff.
man
Yeah.
in school they
Yep.
played
In
it.
school.
You know what I mean? To be like, don't do this.
Don't do this, right?
But I've seen bodies in person, and it doesn't. You're not prepared to see
No.
something lifeless, something that I've man. I went to a friend's funeral. That this ain't a crazy story, but I went to a funeral with a friend. His father passed away. I didn't know that man that had passed away,
Right.
and I'm bawling because seeing something
Right.
lifeless is you can't prepare somebody for that. Really, you can't prepare everybody for it. So we're all receiving the same training. So I just wanted to put that out, just with that, Victor. When you're questioning that, and the military, I can't speak for uh law enforcement, but I know the military is this dual thing, and I
Yeah.
hate to use the term manipulative because I'm proud of my service, proud of Jay's service,
Mm-hmm.
proud of the military,
Mm-hmm.
proud of the U.S. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But I think because I worked in the clinic,
Mm-hmm.
specifically when it comes to medical care, period, I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I was behind the curtain a little bit. You know what I mean? And I can see I knew what the system was. You know what I'm saying? Like war is what we're here for. We want you to be okay mentally, but this is what we're here for. And that's what Jay is speaking to as well. So I just want to just shine just a little light on just the mental health aspect of
Mm-hmm.
that and that training that comes with that. But yeah.
So, so I got another question for y'all. Now I'm gonna stop. This is gonna sound very, very political and very. I know it
Mm.
sounds crazy, but I just got to stop here and thank both of y'all for y'all service. I don't think
Oh
people
man.
understand.
Mm.
I don't think people understand what we send you guys to do, and there's no way to compensate. And I also want to all the police officers that's still out there. My
Mm.
brother in
Yeah, we
Baltimore,
appreciate you.
that was a
Our
war zone
homeboys.
when I went and rode with him. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if people truly understand what it's like to have a job where you're barely paid above minimum wage,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
but every day you go to work, you may have to take a life or your life may be taken. Or let me
Mm.
just simplify it, kill or be killed.
Right.
Okay. Most people when they go to work, they may be worried about, well, I hope I don't push the wrong button on the computer and
Yes.
send
Mm.
and do
Yeah.
this right. But in this line of work, you have to kill or be killed, and that can
Mm-hmm.
happen at any time. And furthermore, uh sometimes you have accidents.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean,
Mm.
there's friendly fire that happens
Mm-hmm.
in military all the time where
Mm-hmm.
officers soldiers accidentally shoot the same
We went through
soldier.
that. Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And and I kind of had a situation like that. That's another story. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I just want to thank all three of y'all for y'all
Hey,
service.
well, Victor,
Of
and you know
course,
what?
man.
We just had a police officer down in Atlanta, right? Yesterday, day before yesterday, by the
Oh
same.
Yes,
yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
young
Friday.
guy. It was like
man, that
Yes,
might.
26.
Yeah, man,
young
he'd only
guy.
been on there for a year.
That's
Yeah.
On, I don't know if it was on the
crazy.
force or just
In
assigned
DeKalb
there, but he
County.
only. Yeah, man, just
Absolutely.
saw the brother speaking at a some kind of school
At
event,
his
man, the other day,
graduation,
and
he
it's
was the
like,
class
That's
leader.
awful, man. That
man,
is
Yeah.
He was
so
the
awful,
class
bro.
leader.
yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah.
and there's so much meat on those bones. We probably got to come back and discuss that
Oh yeah,
by
yeah, yeah.
itself
Oh yeah, for
because
sure.
you're dealing with mental health with the guy who actually did it. And then there's other
Mm,
questions. You got a guy with a rifle. I don't know if this young man and his partner had rifles when they arrived, because a lot of agencies don't give officers rifles because they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to they don't want to look too aggressive. But yet you're
Mm-hmm.
sending them into
mm,
a war zone with people who do have. There's a whole lot there that we don't know yet.
Is
And as
is
those
there
facts come out, we'll talk about it.
is there a
But
way they can
but
find or change the way that they do these tests to get these guys in the police department or in the military as well? Like they have to change this. It's they got to
well,
find
mm.
a way to stop letting these kind of guys slip through the cracks. I know it's I don't want to sound overzealous with it, but I mean
Well,
Well,
I
they
guess,
well,
gotta.
Jason, what my thoughts are is, how do you recreate what we're in when we go into the police academy, when we go into basic
Hmm.
training and so on and so forth?
Hmm.
Um, that's a static environment. You can't
Yeah.
control.
mm-mm,
I mean, that part of it's controlled. They put you in
Yeah.
these episodes that are very controlled because they don't want to get you hurt, right?
Right,
And,
right, right,
and for the most part, you
right.
guys probably have it a little bit more difficult in basic training in
Mm-hmm.
military than we do
Mm-hmm.
at the police academies that we
Mm-hmm.
train in. But at the same time, you can't teach that. You have to be. It's almost like getting punched in the mouth.
Got to
You
experience it.
you got to experience it.
Because, bro, I think it's for police academy and for the military for basic training, for air assault, for jump school, all that stuff.
Mm,
They 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 break you. It's the train. It's part of the training. I say
Mhm.
is they break you down from being a civilian, and then they build you up as a soldier or a police
right.
officer.
Right.
That's what it is.
Mhm.
They will call you. Well, I
Every
won't
name in
even
the
get
book. Yeah.
into it. Yeah.
Bro. Yeah.
But
If you
they,
saw a full metal
but that,
jacket,
but
it's
that's
that.
the breakdown.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had to spend the night out in the rain, in the mud, because my battle buddy might have screwed up something in his wall locker. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's just. But I understand the training now because it's like when you're a team, you can't have a weak link in the chain when you're going into
Sure.
combat. So I understand why they did that to us. Same thing with Police Academy. Your CEO might have punched you in the jaw an extra time because when you're in the street, somebody gonna try to catch you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I understand the reasons why they did what they did, but
Are they
it's
still
a
doing that?
mental.
Because I heard they
Oh
lessened on it. I've heard. Are they
no no no
still
no
Yes.
no
doing
no
stuff
Yes.
like
no
that?
Yes. Yes.
no no no
Well,
no.
I was about to say because I was in the Air Force. Something
My
different.
boy is a drill right now, and I called the Buster's balls a few years ago about like, oh,
Mm.
did you bring the kids some candy? I mess with them all the time about it, but
Victor. When I went in, my dad was in the
no
Marine Corps.
no
When I went in, my dad told me it's about to be a piece of cake because it's easier.
yeah.
Blase, blase, blase. It
Now
was
wait
not a
for your
piece of cake.
dad.
It wasn't the 70s. It wasn't what he
Yeah
went through. They
yeah
couldn't call me the N word,
yeah
but
yeah
they had a way of letting me know.
yeah. How
They
many
they had
cars
a
did you
way of
steal?
saying it and
How many
letting me
cars you
know. I
steal?
can't call you this, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
call you. This is what I think about you. So you still got it.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
couldn't. But again, it was all designed to break you down. So they got
yeah.
find more creative
Okay.
ways.
It's to break you down
Okay.
and do a rebuild. When they
So let
rebuild you
me ask
back,
you
you're a
this.
soldier or you're a police officer. That's how it is.
So let me ask you this. And believe it or not, back in Clayton County,
Mm-hmm.
when I went through the academy, I don't know how it is. It's probably softened up a lot. It was ran military like that too. They yell, scream at you,
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a reason. And just like
It's
when
a
you go
reason.
through buzz training for Navy SEAL, what
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to do is see if you're going to quit or see if you're going to break. That way, they
Right,
eliminate that before you get
mhm.
there.
right.
So technically, that's the psychological test to
Mm-hmm.
see if you're strong enough to go to combat. Now, that's
Mm-hmm.
obviously not 100% because we've seen people break.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there
Well,
another answer? Right.
so
Go ahead.
yeah, but like you said, you can't. You don't know what the breaking moment
Right.
is. So that
Correct.
training is for everybody because for me it could be
Different
me
for
not
you,
being
for
able to
somebody else.
yeah, it was
Right.
different for everybody. Jay said that he was in a dark place based off what he saw.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing is Jay is still here. So he's able
Mm-hmm.
to get through it, but you
Mm-hmm.
Right.
still there's somebody that can have every beat of that same story, but that can be their breaking point. You know what I'm saying? So
Did the military offer after you left combat? Did the military
I ain't
offer
got an
you?
answer.
Go ahead.
yeah, that's Jay.
So what they do is it's called oh god, I forget the term. Oh god, I'm getting old.
Not the
So
debrief stuffer.
it's like it's a debrief, but it's called they call it the back to the world briefing, or it's a debrief pretty much.
Right.
So they run you through all. You go through the psyche eval. You go through and make sure you don't have any. You don't come home with any diseases. You do all that stuff, and you want to get everything done so you go home. Because if you fail your psyche eval, you got to stay longer until you pass the psyche eval. So these guys, you'd have been in 115, 20-degree heat for a year and 2 months. And then they have a winter season where it's freaking brick cold. I mean, it's brick cold. You want to go to hell home. You'd have been fighting all year long. You've been getting mortared. You've been getting bombed. You've been all doing all kind of stuff all year long. These guys ain't thinking like, damn, should I stay here and take care of my mental? Or should I go home? I'm going to go home and see my mom and my dad, my kids, or my wife. They trying to get home. And so they trying to go through the psyche valve as fast as they can to get home.
Right.
Now I think they should change that because
Or
I did
or
it.
or, or just add. I think Victor said in y'all show, the last show,
Mm-hmm.
you said something about every 6 months. You got it when you first come in. So some stuff, because that even what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
at what point, okay, if you make it longer, I still might
Mm-hmm.
not be able to focus.
Mm-hmm.
So follow up,
Right,
follow
right.
up.
Because when
You know,
I went home,
But
follow up.
when I home, I was off for those 5 months, 6 months before I had to go back. And I didn't have nobody call and check on me and Sergeant Nicholson, how you doing? Blah 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 blah.
Mm.
But I was ready to take myself out, and God put the people in my path. My uncle and my pastor. That was like, nah, man. You're not. You got to come out of that because that was your job. You didn't go over there
so
with the intent of hurting people. You understand what I'm saying? I went there to do my
it,
mission to come home.
okay, so let me ask you this: this psych that stuff that they give you, because most of the stuff in the police world is yes or no answers,
Yep.
and if you got any sense at all, you know what the right answers are, even
Exactly.
if you
Mm-hmm.
don't feel that way. So that means that, let's say a person just wants to pass to get the
To go
job, or
home.
just want to pass to come home,
Mm-hmm.
they'll lie on the
Yes, they
psychological
will.
test,
Yes, they will.
and then and so it's no guarantee.
Yes,
So
they
there
will.
has to be a way to test a person's mental fitness that
Mm-hmm.
has nothing to do with relying on them to tell you the truth or not.
Right.
And I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
solution we got to have.
Well, that's the
Right.
part of the system that I think is broken. It's going to be broken for a little while until they learn how to reevaluate us for debriefs because it's the
Mm.
same questions, bro. Like
Yeah.
like I said,
Well, there's a culture.
I went back and forth 3 times. It's the same questions every time you come home. The same debrief. I
But
had
you
it
know what? It's not
memorized for a
just them,
while.
though, man.
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying isn't necessarily a problem, because if
Mm-hmm.
those questions work, again, for most of
For
the
some,
people,
for some,
which it
right?
do,
Yeah, yeah,
right? I
yeah,
think
yeah,
the majority of people it works.
yeah. You're right.
Um,
Now,
but there's a
now there
culture.
is
The
something out
culture's.
there. No,
Oh,
go
there's
ahead.
something out there better than that than
I
the
was about to say
debrief.
the culture's got to be changed too,
Oh.
because the culture has changed for me. You know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
and especially with us being people of colors, but I think specifically black, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even within
Mm-hmm.
our culture,
Mm-hmm.
therapy has never been cool. You know what I mean? I feel like it's talked
Yep.
about more. I've heard Charlemagne the God.
Yep.
I hear it a lot more
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Dude, I've seen it work with my family members. I've been to therapy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the stigma is still there a little bit. So I don't know if it's because I'm old. You know what I mean? Like I have to
Nah.
remind myself, now this thing, I've
Nah.
seen it work. It does
Still
work.
there.
You got to take it
Right.
seriously. That's what I was saying earlier
Exactly.
when I was saying you're not taking it seriously. So we're blaming, oh, they got to come up with better questions. Nah,
Yeah.
it's the person who's not
Yeah.
answering the question right, who's
Yeah.
not, in other words, not taking it seriously. You know, but and that's probably, it's a culture of it not working or it not being as important or not being part of our life. It shouldn't even be something special that we got to go
Yeah.
see every time. It should be something as easy as you talking to your spouse or your pastor
Mm-hmm.
or your best friend. We do it in ways like that. You know what I'm saying?
Now, see
But
but the last comment about the homeless veterans, we
mm,
make up, I think, 70 to 82%
that's true.
of the
You're right.
homeless
You're
population
right.
are veterans. That is
Right.
fucking.
No,
Excuse me.
it
That's
is.
true.
It is
That's true.
bad. And guess who that
That is
bothers?
disgusting, bro.
Well, it is. And
And
guess what happens? They have to deal with us because we have to
Right.
go ahead and deal with them now.
That's
And can
Right.
you
so.
imagine?
I
Now it's
can't even,
fire
yo.
versus fire.
And then
You
one,
know
and
what
Right.
I
then
mean? I can't tell
like,
you how many times I got into a fight with a homeless
bruh.
veteran, and it's
And I
it's
have
like
Wow.
brothers. Bro, I have
another
brothers
super
that went down
character I'm dealing with.
Iraq with me,
Right.
right? My homeboy just so sorry. He's still in the army, a sergeant major. This boy been a New Jersey, Pensacola, New Jersey police officer now for 6 years. I taught this boy. That's my brother from another mother, my white brother, right?
Mm,
This dude, we talk a lot. And he just told me, he said, bro, he like, it kills me when I gotta arrest us, dog.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
It kills me because I know they ain't got nowhere to go. It's not their fault, and the system has failed them. But I have to enforce the system.
Right.
yeah.
I'm like, wow.
what
To hear it like that kind of messed me up. Like, man, like,
so believe it or not,
Mm-hmm.
there are some solutions to what we're talking about, and it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting because let's get back to the mental health thing. So when I was
Mm-hmm.
sheriff, I had the honor of meeting Dr. Farah, and now
Oh, cool.
we got to have him on the show.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
let me
yeah.
tell you, this doctor makes an appointment to come see me. Actually, through a friend, say, hey, there's a guy I'd like you to sit and talk with him. And I
Mm,
had no idea what it's about, but he started telling me about biofeedback.
mm,
So what he wanted to do was come to the jail. He said that he believed that if he could treat inmates with biofeedback, that they
mm.
wouldn't reoffend again, and that they've done studies on the brains of criminals, and it's real deep. He would have to come and explain it,
Now he's the one that's talking
But
about that he's talking about putting the chip, right? For them to
well, no,
stop.
biofeedback is where they connect things to your head, and they can sense all of the different waves, the alpha wave, the beta wave,
Okay,
the
okay.
whatever like that. And
Right.
they can sense if these waves are off or not. And then they can actually fix it over time
That
where
is awesome.
it really is. Well, what's interesting, he told me about it, he said, but let me tell you something else we need to do. He said the Israelis have been using it with soldiers to not just help them with trauma when they come back from war,
Mm-hmm.
but he said they also use it in order to strengthen the mind so that they can deal with the trauma that they're about to see when they go to war. So he and I, and it was before I ended up leaving with all some other crazy stuff that we all know that story.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we're trying to find a way to see how we could implement it for the deputies or whatever. But let me tell you something interesting. This is where I got real interested.
Mm-hmm.
Biofeedback is not just for that. Um, it also there are athletes that use it if they want to be high performers. So he was telling me about what's called high beta. The high beta, they can train your high beta, and
Mm-hmm.
it causes you to perform at a higher level, but it also strengthens your mind so you can take stress or whatever. Well, of course, I was interested. I said, you gonna have to let
Whoa.
me sample that.
Sign me up.
And
Mm-mm.
and
No,
and I could
no, I don't.
I could tell you this. And I can show you videos. I
Mm-hmm.
went from normal shooting to shooting quarter seconds, meaning I could hit a target 4 times a second after training with him. Right. But interestingly enough, when you look at all these other benefits, but I tell you, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to talk. I'm not a real expert. Like for instance, I can drive the hell out of a car. If you want me to chase a car or
Oh
take
yeah,
a
yeah.
car at high speeds, I can do it. Now, can I fix the
I'm a
car? That's
driver
another
too.
question.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I may know how to use something, but I can't tell you the intricacies. We're gonna have
Yeah.
Dr. Farrar on this show. I want
Yeah,
these
you gonna have
guys
to
to
Oh
have
be able to
Dr.
do
man,
it.
I'm
Farrar.
trying to come
Oh
back for
yeah,
that one,
yeah.
man.
And if you
Yeah,
had
he,
me on
he
there, man, I'm against it, man. It sounds crazy. You got if
Beta
uh,
hey,
waves.
I just want my enhancements, radioactive spiders, gamma bombs. I need
yeah.
something I know. You know what I'm saying? Something I
Yeah,
Zeus.
know.
yeah.
You want Zeus to
It's
hook you
almost
up
like a
too,
comic book.
Zeus?
It's almost like a comic book. But
They
it's
want the
some
Billy
very
Baxter
powerful
part.
stuff.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
don't want
yeah.
the other
Yeah,
For
part.
hey,
right.
for every Spider-Man, there's a Jeff Goldblum in the fly.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just wanted, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? It could
A
go.
Doctor Doom
yeah,
hanging out. A Doctor Doom hanging out
yeah,
somewhere. Oh my
yeah.
God,
I
man.
might have gave y'all my secret weapon without thinking about it,
Listen,
trying to be too
the
helpful.
beta,
Is,
but a lot of athletes use it. I've heard of it
Mm.
before, but
Yes,
I didn't understand the process. But athletes use it. Some doctors use it. Like
yes.
it's crazy. I didn't know it was in law enforcement, but that right there would be fantastic to
Well,
see.
he wanted to bring it to law
Yeah,
enforcement.
it's
That's
not in
why he
law.
met with me. And right. And somebody told him, hey, look, if there's anyone
It's
willing to try
coming.
something new, it's probably going to be Victor Hill, right? And he was right. And we were trying to figure out how to get it done. And then when I figured out what I can increase my performance, my shooting, my whatever, I say, hey, man, I
Mm,
need to try this. Yeah.
Oh my
And
goodness,
so,
that's
yeah.
but it can help. But here's the good part for law enforcement, for soldiers. They
hmm
already experimenting with it in Israel. They
Mm.
have a lot of trauma and war over there all the time. I mean, in
that's an
America,
everyday
we're very
thing.
fortunate. I think
Right.
the most the most invasion we ever experienced that I know of is going to be Pearl Harbor in New York.
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
so
Wells
we're
getting
not
invaded.
we,
Mm.
exactly,
hmm
but
hmm
we've never known what it's like to be
Not
under
every day.
constant attack and have planes fly over
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
whatever. So they're experimenting with it
They
over
let you
there.
live in Compton.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
you got a point there. You got a point there. But I think that is one of the answers because that way you can't make this up. You can't lie. When they hook that stuff up to you, whatever is there is there. They can see the ways whether they're performing normal, abnormal, below normal. It's
Yeah.
there, and they can clearly see if there's something wrong
Mm.
Damn.
without you answering a yes no question and saying because everybody's gonna say yeah I feel fine, yeah, it's no problem.
Mhm.
So we know what we're using now for
Mhm.
military and police. We're just depending on people to tell us the truth. And
Mm.
very few people are going to do what you just did and be honest. Hey man,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
especially in those professions that's so macho,
Mhm.
everybody wants to be a tough guy, even though they
Well,
probably
because
aren't. Yeah.
because
Mhm.
we come from a bend don't break culture, especially as black
Right.
people. You know, where you were raised like shouldn't no boy be crying about nothing, or you know what I mean. You take care of your house, or how you gonna go be crying about some stress, whatever. Just do what you gotta do, take care of your house.
Mhm.
We come from a bend don't break mentality. The army's the same way. The bend don't break mentality, what you've been trained up as. We don't took all the civilian out of you. Now you a soldier.
Mhm.
You a bend don't break. You know,
Now,
so for
now
you to
let
be
me say
crying
this.
about stuff like that, it just doesn't work for the military. So
Right. Now, let me play devil's advocate to that. You're right
mm,
about that. But
mm,
there's a reason for that, too. And I
mm,
talked about that in that show. Like
mm,
I told folks when I was a sheriff, and well, I
mm,
can't even do it now, to be honest with you.
mm,
But when I was a sheriff, I said, Sheriff can't have emotional breakdown because if I have an emotional breakdown, what happens? The whole organization has an emotional breakdown. So
mm,
I have
mm,
to be in control. It, it,
mm,
it doesn't really have so much to do with macho and I think I'm tough or whatever.
mm, mm,
But imagine we got a catastrophe in my county, bodies or whatever, and I'm the
mm.
supreme commander at that point when I arrive on the scene. So if I break down, now what? So I have
Well,
to be
is
mentally
it is
strong
it
enough. You see what I'm saying?
is it that you don't do it in front of your other cadets or in front of your
Mhm.
other sheriffs? You do it off.
Well,
Mhm.
that's an option. That's an
Okay.
option,
Well,
Big.
and that
But
goes back to the culture.
that's an option,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a
Mm-hmm.
culture. But it's better that you don't do it in command the scene, and it's better
Yeah,
for
you do it
everybody because even
offhand.
if you go home and have an emotional breakdown, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to show. Because if they can't reach you for the next 24 hours because
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to recover for what you have. So I mean, that's a reality. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say uh don't be human. I'm not trying to say don't have
Mm-hmm.
emotions and don't have compassion.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're the general and you're the commander, imagine your soldiers, you're at the front line fighting. The commander
Mm-hmm.
comes, he's giving orders. Hey, I need you to flank left. I need this and that. And then imagine all of a sudden he follows his knees and start crying. What y'all
Mm-hmm.
gonna do then?
Ain't
Whatever
no
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it, but ain't no command
Yeah,
coming out there.
Hey, I will tell
He in
you
the
guys
back.
this
right.
that I was affected naturally being out on the streets,
Mm-hmm.
and I became a serial cheater.
Mm-hmm.
I just
I get it.
I just
I get it.
You were
slept around a lot.
you were a serial cheater before you even got a badge.
Oh,
Remember,
sorry
we're
about that.
related.
I'm
We're
sorry.
not even we're
That's
not
slick.
Trying
even
to
going.
tie that to no
Yeah,
badge,
yeah,
Oh,
boy.
yeah.
sorry.
I know you,
Don't even
bro.
start.
I
We
was just
know
trying to
you.
put
Jerome.
Whatever,
I'm
man.
just trying to
Jerome.
put it out there like
Whatever.
I
that.
know
Right.
you, bro.
Oh my
He
Nah.
gonna get
God.
all serious, put his head
Oh
down.
my
Oh
Boy,
God.
yeah.
Hey,
All
I,
right.
I
I
know
thought
this
that
fool.
hey,
I thought it was
Don't
from
do that.
that.
It had absolutely nothing to do with that,
Yeah. I gotta
man.
find a new. What did I
This
mess up
Yeah.
dude.
on?
This
Man,
dude, bro.
he gave our dad so much grief. It was sad. I would get phone calls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
This
yeah.
dude. I've been
Yeah.
this boy wingman so many times, man. This dude. I cannot believe he even said that. Had the
Yeah.
nerve,
Oh
the
my
gall to
God.
even say some shit like
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough,
Yeah.
man. It was tough.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
I,
Okay.
oh man, I saw that. Oh man, I'm gonna have to get under, a few of the ladies.
Did
Help
you
me
did
get over this. I need
did you
stress
ever get the
relief.
Help me
did
get
you ever
over
get
it.
the counseling you need so you could become a one man woman? A
I'm
one
still
woman man or
searching.
whatever they
Yeah,
call
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Still searching,
Okay.
man. I'm
Okay.
trying. I'm trying
Okay.
hard.
All right.
Just don't have no female psychologist, man.
Right,
You
right,
can't.
right, right. Oh, yeah,
That
that's right.
yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
Oh,
They're the best. They're the
All
best.
right. Now that we've survived that trauma, let's get back on point. So, so
cousins.
Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah. Man, I got it. Now I got to collect my thoughts. He got me off my game with that. Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
let me go ahead and go with this one then
Okay,
to
go
get us
Yeah.
ahead.
back onto focus. So let's
Right.
take a look at the text that
Mhm.
the young boy, the 18-year-old boy did. It said, you know, basically telling his mom that he was in danger, you know.
That's what hit me, dog. Oh
And
man.
you know, that 20-minute gap, and this is why I said I'm calling a spade a spade. This was a murder. Um, that it's not giving off anything but this type of thing for me. It's not saying that, you know, he was calling for help. He wasn't calling for I'm lost. If he was just to leave the car, he's not coming to
Right.
say come get me. You know, he's
Trying to
showing
get
you
help.
that there's danger. I need help. You know, I'm in danger. And that's why I know this in the core of my heart that and especially all the ancillary things that happened to Giovanni, and for him to rest in peace, and his family are going through something horrific tonight in the
Yeah,
past
yeah.
few weeks. But
Mm.
that was a sign of, guess what? I'm in bad. It's bad times right
In a
now.
bad way.
I'm not.
Mm.
You know, this is probably an unsurvivable moment, and that happened to be the case.
Mm.
For him. You you're not texting that just to say, "Can you come around the corner and get me?"
I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine my kid. I couldn't imagine that, man.
Yeah.
Bro, can I and I know we done took some side roads, man,
Mhm,
but right from the jump, the story turned out good.
mhm,
But we had I got a phone call from my daughter.
Mm.
She had a middle school dance, first year of middle school, had a middle school dance at the local high school. It's probably about 10 minutes down the road.
mhm.
And saying that there was a shooter at the school at the dance. And oh my God, boy, tearing up now.
Already,
No, it
yeah,
turned out
bro.
good, but
Yeah,
just
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
moment, man, the wifey drove me as far as I could. My daughter was actually with her mother, so she was with my baby mother for that weekend.
Thank God.
So I was already disconnected. No, but she was at the dance. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So I
oh,
didn't.
oh, oh,
I had
oh,
just
right,
took
right.
pictures of them. So I had just seen her
Mm-hmm.
happy. My daughter was on the phone with her mother and me, so we're on three-way on the phone the whole time while she's hiding in the back, hiding behind the trash can. I'm telling her to stay there. I'm on my way. End up driving. We can only get because everybody was on the way to the school because every parent. So it was at one point I had to get out and run. Had my gun on me. Uh, dude, you guys are law enforcement. So you just perspective. The thought had to cross my mind. Well, damn, I'm black and I'm about to run up with a gun. Do I leave my gun in the car or do I bring the gun with me? And uh, and to be honest with you, I can't even remember my decision. I ended up bringing the gun with me. I had the gun with me and ran on foot, bro. Jumped over a fence like I was 20 years old. Jumped over a fence without not climbed it, jumped it, get into that school. But anyways, you just triggered it because that phone call saying my child saying help.
Oh man. Oh.
That trigger. I'll tell you guys the whole story later. Like
Yeah.
it ended up being a balloon popping, just to let you know. A balloon popped and the school
Oh my
panicked.
God.
Right.
But the feeling, not
The
knowing that
feeling.
until I got there,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, was
Yeah.
Our
like,
kids
You
shouldn't even.
you
Our
wow.
kid, bro. Our
let
kids shouldn't even be going through this kind of trauma, dog.
well,
Yeah,
you
that is
know, that's so
trauma.
true.
That is trauma.
This
You
is
That
know,
is trauma. Balloon
crazy.
pop.
it,
So
well,
I'm sorry, Jerome. Go ahead.
and you remember I told you about this about maybe a year, maybe 15 months ago. Your niece, your nieces, you know,
Oh, no
um,
doubt.
was in Syria,
Yeah.
Oh, I just
and
talked about that.
Mm,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
calls
yeah.
Yeah.
me and lets me know that they're being bombed, and
mm.
she was saying goodbye to me.
Oh,
And you know, the way that
bro,
they had it on the
I
phone
get
was on
emotional. I
FaceTime,
get. Oh my God.
and I was like, "London, you're going to be okay." And obviously, I am screaming inside because you can hear it. She was getting on her helmet. She was like, I got to go in there. And I'm screaming inside. And there was nothing I can do but to just soothe her at the time to tell her, I'm here. Everything's going to be all right. And
Oh,
knowing that that screen could have went blank in 2 seconds flat. And just the what I wanted to project to her, or the last image I wanted to project to her, was that I was smiling, of some sort of comfort. But inside, as a
Right.
dad,
oh
I was
man.
probably at my most sickened spot. I've seen children's heads get cut off,
Yeah.
looking like,
Yeah.
the- you know,
Yeah.
Hollywood things, people getting chopped up and stuff like that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
all types of things like that. None that doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
And I really mean that, because I never saw it as, I didn't have an emotional attachment to it, but the emotional attachment to know that your child was just about to be taken out of here. And because of technology nowadays in the military, where you
Mm-hmm.
can get on FaceTime
Mm-hmm.
and say goodbye before it
Yeah.
happens, insanity, brother.
Ooh.
Insanity.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
London like
Hey,
one of our kids, bro. Like
Mhm.
London, that's my baby. We just talked to London. At least that's what I'm saying. We just talked to London last Friday, bro.
Last Friday? Yeah.
She's trying to do the air assault.
Yeah.
Had to
Yeah.
give her
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
hard time. I was trying to get her with my boy,
Right.
but that's a whole other story. But London is
Yeah.
one of the sweetest kids, bro. Like
yes, she
young
is.
baby girl, smart as hell. We are so proud
And
of
pretty
Raven,
fierce,
dog. And
Mm.
she ain't scared of shit.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
That's true.
for her to call like that, it had to be bothering her real bad, bro.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
God, it won't hit me.
Yeah, bro.
yeah. I
Ooh, that
couldn't.
messed me up.
I,
So I relate
I ain't
relate
about
to
all
yeah,
that.
that. Damn.
I agree.
That's what I
I
heard
can't
when you
answer
tell that
that.
story just now. That kid asking for help,
And
dude.
Oh
It's
man.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all
Man.
realize it, but y'all just created the next 5 or 6 shows. Okay.
mm,
You got what my brother just said about my niece, and that
Mm-hmm.
was horrible. And I remember when he called and told me about it. But he's an example of what I was talking about, leadership, that the leader can't crack.
Can't
He
crack.
was the leader at
mm-hmm,
that time.
Yeah.
So he had to maintain calm, because if
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
started screaming and yelling and whatever, it would have caused a
Yeah.
panic towards her.
Yeah.
Then my man
mm-hmm,
Wiz, he was talking, okay, hey, I'm going to act
mm,
shoot a situation. Do I take my gun? Do I not? That's
Mm-hmm.
another
mm.
story in itself. I want to ask you,
No, yeah, yeah.
was the gun in your hand
And
when you
stayed on the
running? Was it
phone
brandished,
with
or did you
Roman.
have it hidden?
No, I had it. I hit it.
No,
I
I'm
did.
talking
I
about
put it in
you.
my.
Okay, that's
Yeah, yeah,
good,
yeah. I
because
did
it's
hit it.
something to think about, because you got all the cops coming. If you're running with a
Oh yeah,
gun,
yeah.
Right.
you
They
got
were there.
Right.
They
that
were
that
there. You know what I'm
that
saying?
that that's a whole
And
show in itself right there. Yeah,
Right.
oh yeah. And then I spoke to the cops when I got there. You know what I mean? Like I tried to
Yeah.
make sure, yo, we
right.
cool, y'all cool.
Listen, I would have
I
reacted the
have a
same way.
yeah, dude. But I stayed on the Jerome. It reminded me, I stayed on the
Mm-hmm.
phone. I had to stay calm.
Mm-hmm.
She was crying. She was helping people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she was telling people were coming back there. Hide. It was her and another girl. And she was separated by her friends. She was there with 2 other friends. So she was crying because she didn't know where her friends were. You
Damn,
know, it's
bro.
like, did this happen? So it was so
But it's like,
it's weird because I
why?
don't think about it often until she asked to go to a dance or something. But it was
Right.
like
But
everything about it, knowing it didn't happen was one thing, but it was like, man, for 35 minutes straight, it was
but
the
it's
realest
like,
thing on earth. You know what I'm saying?
bro, as great as this country is, right? America has not been fair to her kids.
Right.
Why do these kids have to even thinking about a school shooting?
Right.
Why
Well,
these kids are so traumatized over the last 15, 20 years.
Mm,
I
There's a
wish you
school
could
shooting
see.
almost every year.
Yeah, I wish you could see this letter a sixth grader wrote. One of my deputies, one of my former deputies when I was sheriff, I hired him,
Mm,
ex-military. I
mm,
think he has over 70 confirmed kills. I hired him
mm,
to train our snipers,
mm,
and he actually created a product that's brilliant. He created a
mm,
product that's designed for schools, but you can use anywhere. It's something that if there's an active shooter, there's a way to block the door where there's no way he can get in, and it's bulletproof. It can block doors and glasses. I mean windows. That way, not only can he not get in, the bullets can't get through. Well, he showed me a letter that a sixth grader looked up his webpage, saw it, and wrote a passionate letter to the superintendent why he felt his school should have this. It's not like he contacted this kid and say, "Hey, can you do advertisement for us? We're trying to promote it." And you can read the trauma in this letter from the sixth grader, because you can tell this was a fear, and it shows that's a microcosm of the fear we're talking about that's throughout the school, to the point where a balloon pops, and now you got this massive panic, and all our kids are worrying about being shot every day. Now people are worrying about it. So that's another show we got to do: gun violence and what can control it. And we need real solutions. I believe that I have some solutions. People don't like solutions. They don't like what solutions bring. That's a fact. I mean, nobody likes the fact that you got to go to the airport 2 hours early because you may be standing in line for a whole hour to get searched.
Security clearance, yeah,
right. But the other alternative is to get blown up in a plane or get flown into a building.
Exactly.
And or not feel safe on the plane.
Or not feel safe or whatever like that. And there are things that are going to have to be done in order for safety. Safety comes with a cost, unfortunately. And that cost is time, it's money, but also what people don't like hearing is that safety also means you have to give the police more authority than they already have. If you want them to protect us, you're going to have to give them more authority to deal with those particular areas. If not, we're going to continue to get what we're getting. We're going to have to get them more authority to deal with mental health. Because if we just continue to just let them walk the street or don't do something that we can take them off the streets with, and I'm not talking about criminalizing, I'm not talking about putting them in jail, but mental health facilities, longer term and permanent term, if we don't do it, then anyone can get shot at any time the minute somebody snaps. So it has to be done. We either want the safety or we don't.
Hey, Rome.
What's that?
I think it's my fault. When you invite me on the show, I think I bring up micro subjects to me and then it goes somewhere else. I feel like it's my fault. I'm making the show longer.
No. You're good. You're good. You know?
Yeah.
This is what this is all about.
It's all good. Yeah, good conversations, man. But all that to say, I really related to that portion of the story. Him sending that message, because all that runs through your mind.
Right.
I brought up my daughter, and you brought up your daughter. It's like, with everything that's going on, for her to take that moment to call you, and my daughter to call me,
that's powerful, man.
It's, you know what I'm saying. So what's going through this kid's mind, reaching out to his mom, and it feels like we don't know the whole story. I guess I don't know the whole story, but it's like it feels like I got one phone call to make, because he only had enough time to say that one thing. Gives that feeling like,
right,
I got one thing to say and this is it. And by the way, and it's not a goodbye. It almost makes it sadder because it's not a goodbye. It's a help. Right? Yeah, man.
But y'all know why the conversation keeps digressing, right? The reason why we end up going off is because they're all interrelated. It's hard to discuss gun violence without discussing mental health. It's hard to discuss mental health without discussing homelessness. They're all interwoven. It's almost like a domino effect. Sometimes the mental health leads to homelessness. The homelessness leads to crime. The mental health leads to the gun violence. That's the reason why we start off talking about one thing and it ends up, because there's no way to separate it. So when you try to talk, exactly.
Also because it's all issues that we've all dealt with in our own lives, which is crazy.
Right, man.
So I will tell you this, that this investigation with Giovanni, the central piece of this now becomes medical in nature. You know, that takes the forefront of that. The technical aspects, naturally, you're going to have, you know, the GPS, you know, the vehicle forensics, and you know, of course, you got to separate the cousins. You got to ask them certain questions.
I hope they find out what happened to this kid, man.
And they'll be able to determine when that text was, because he obviously had a phone when that text was sent.
Sure. So I mean, they're worried about the elements too, dehydration, you know, We talk
Right.
about water in the lungs that my
Right.
brother was bringing up.
Mm.
These are all the aspects that we take into, the collective, and,
The
and
body won't
start
lie,
to,
man. The
yeah,
body won't lie.
yeah. No, 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 no. In fact, that's going to give you the most clues. I'll have
Mm-hmm.
my brother talk about that. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably more his alley on it. But the
Mm-hmm.
body gives off so many clues. It's not even funny in the
Mm-hmm.
environment.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true. And another thing you got to understand too, we can't outrule gun violence with this because when you have a body that is decomposed, you can't clearly see everything. There've been a lot of times where people think it's one thing and it's another. I know in Clayton County, you get a train hit a car. No one's paying attention, or it's just a train accident. But by the time he gets to the autopsy room, you find a bullet hole where he was
Mm,
actually shot.
mm,
Oh
Um,
man.
Mm.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had a situation like that with a cab driver. He ran and hit a tree, and the traffic guys get there. They work it like it's just a fatality. Well, the next day we get called on homicide because the medical examiner was like, "Hey, this ain't no fatality. He got a gunshot wound." So he really was a robbery, and he got shot, and then somehow drove into a tree, and they didn't figure that out. We had to come back and reconstruct it. So a lot of times we don't know if there's not a gunshot wound with him.
yeah.
Right.
Mm.
I mean,
So how? So what is
We
1 week
will know
of
tomorrow.
decomposition? I
But
know you
when you got
guys
a
don't
body that's
know.
decomposed, you can't readily see that. Yeah.
So what would 1 week of because they said he was missing for a week.
right. So you talking
You
about
Where's
the
know,
so
heat,
many?
but Keith will go ahead and go into that. But
yeah, let me tell you this. It depends on heat. It depends. Sometimes it can speed up. There's some things that don't speed up, and some things it's just natural in time, like rigor mortis. Rigor mortis is usually something that happens 6 to 8 hours. And
Mm.
then you got lividity. That's going to happen a certain time frame, and that's where
yeah,
the blood settles to the lowest part of the
yeah,
body, and that's how we can tell if a body's been moved or not.
Mm.
But
Oh
when you're
wow.
talking about heat,
Mm.
and you're talking about decomposing and insects and stuff
what
like that can
animal
come
life?
into
Yeah,
play. Exactly. It can get to the point, I don't know if when they found him he was bloating, or if a person is bloating, you're only going to see but so much.
Mm.
And you got to be real careful. So it's hard to say right now. The autopsy
And
is
I did
very, very
hear
crucial. Yeah.
in the story it did say that they had to wait, that they were pretty sure it was him by evidence around. I forgot how it was worded, but it sounded
right.
like they had
DNA.
an. I'm guessing the clothes was it DNA,
Yeah,
but they
DNA.
had to do the autopsy
Yeah,
to
make it
to ensure
definitive.
that it was him.
Yeah,
Right, right,
And
right,
so that tells you that his face wasn't recognizable,
hmm,
because if a
right.
person just dies, you could, hey, can you identify? Yeah, that's my sister, my aunt, whatever, like that.
correct.
But they weren't able to do a facial identification right away. And another thing they can usually use is fingerprint the person, and not necessarily they could be a fingerprint on file, not necessarily because he ever committed a crime, but we used to fingerprint kids just to have it on file. That way, if anything ever happened, we could do it. And usually, you just put it on the finger, you know who the person is. Well, obviously, if they're at a certain point of decomposition, you can't even do that. So right now, that remains to be seen. They could have found a gunshot wound.
Yeah,
And
Right.
I'm not saying they are, but we don't know right now. It's unknown.
right, right, right.
And if he had a wallet and identification, that kind of identification, you wouldn't use that as the. You wouldn't say
The
we found
soul.
this person for sure, right? Based off of
Well,
ID on the person or something.
you can, but it doesn't necessarily mean just because that wallet is on him, you can 100% say it's his wallet or whatever. Case in
Mm.
Right.
example, I worked a case of the infamous eyeglass murder. We find a man on 75 northbound shot. There's glasses beside him. Um, so we take the glasses and we put it not in evidence, but we put it like in his property, because we had no reason to think otherwise. Well, when his belongings was given to his wife, his ID and everything, she came back and said, "Hey, look, this is not my husband's glasses." So we realized we had the glasses of the killer.
Mm,
E-
No.
wow. Yeah.
Exactly, and that right there was a whole. Because I didn't realize it, but I almost became a eyeglass expert, because once I started investigating and talking to eye doctors, they
Yeah.
were able to tell me the race, because we didn't have anything, the race and the age, and everything just by looking at the glasses. And I didn't realize it.
So you
But
had the glasses of the murderer. That's
right, the
crazy.
eyeglasses. And they were able to tell me that I was dealing with a white male in his early to mid 50s just by the prescription of the
Wow.
eyeglass. And we didn't even have that. We didn't know if we was looking for a man, woman, white, black, or whatever. But just based on those eyeglasses, we had a race and a sex and an
Mm.
age. It wasn't just a white person, it was a white male, early 50s to mid 50s, that they were able to tell me just from the eyeglasses.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
People, they those.
It didn't have the name attached to it.
No, it didn't have a
No,
name
the
to it.
prescription does.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
But here's the crazy part: they were able to tell that by looking at the glasses. Back then,
mhm.
it wasn't computerized, so
Okay.
I went to
Oh,
every eyeglass place I could find and tried to hand go through every prescription and see if I could find a match. Unfortunately,
Mm.
it wasn't computerized like it is now. We
yeah.
tried to reopen the case, and believe it or not, when we tried to reopen the case, the guy that was supposed to do the cold case was the dummy that came with the case against me. But he was too busy trying to get me, so he didn't pay that no attention because now
Wow.
it's can actually get a lead on it. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm,
Man, that's crazy.
interesting.
yeah,
Last.
yeah.
So like
People
Jedi
should.
Kid, man, I could tell by looking at Jedi Kid that those glasses belong to a
Oh
black person,
yeah, these
without a doubt. Either a black person or Tony Stark's. One or the other. There's two different
nah,
races, but
these Gucci's, man, they prescribed, man. I pay for them.
controlling the satellites. Was that the ones that Spider Man had?
Yeah, that's the one no, that's the one that Stark had. Stark.
The Stark had. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah. They want to give it to Spider Man.
No, we can't give it to Spider Man. He don't do that kind of power, man.
wow,
And
wow.
so that's
Man,
what.
crazy.
So those are what we have for Giovanni. And of course, at this point in time, we're going to hear much more of it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
I'm good at this. This case will be solved within the month.
Right, right.
I'm
Oh,
here
no
to tell
doubt,
you.
no
This is
doubt.
going to be
Mm.
this is a solvable case. This isn't a case where it will linger into a
Right.
to the yonder with mystery. There's too much clues. The body was
He was
found
supposed to
dressed
So,
graduate
differently.
this
so
year, right? When he supposed to get out of school?
Good
so
question.
18? Yeah, he might already.
He might
18.
have.
So he might already finish. Or he
You
might have
might
graduated.
have, yeah.
But the murder definitely sound. So I guess my question is weird because all the details, the more details. Now my question isn't even whether they did something to him
Mhm.
because they obviously did they report it? Were they the ones to report that he's missing, or did
From
the
the
mother?
Wow.
No, with a mother, um, the kid said when they got back that, hey, guess what? He was acting erratic. They dropped him
Right,
off,
right, right, right,
and
right, right, right,
on that end of
right.
it. Now, how they contacted the family, I'm sure the family were expecting him at a certain hour, but more
Mm.
importantly, when you get a text like that,
Yeah.
all shit is being overturned if you're a parent. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially if you're not
Right.
getting any type of response back, which is a good thing. And I tell you why, because they're probably still, going ahead and sending text messages. Well, guess what? If that phone is still active, naturally it's pinging.
Mm. Right.
It's
Right.
receiving on that end of it. So that's why I'm saying that this is a very solvable case. This isn't
Oh,
Mm.
no doubt, no
one of
doubt.
those matters where you're going to be left with more questions than answers. I think that we'll get those
Mm.
answers. And let's talk about this. I mean, you're talking about kids around that age. Um, now, yeah, are there stone cold psychopaths at that age?
That's my question. That's
Sure.
my question. Is this an accident and them trying to cover it up? Is this
Right.
something? It sounds like it's not premeditated.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Yeah.
it's not, but
Yeah.
but
It could be anything at this point. I think those are going to be the lingering questions, not so much
Mhm.
on the manner of death and who caused it. It'll be
mm,
what led to that point, to those things.
right, right.
Was it drugs involved? And that's why the tox. Did he have a
Mm,
reaction? Um, you know, and not to say that that's what he did, but
Right.
maybe
You
it
say
was
he was
peer
erratic.
pressure of the moment, being with his family for the very first time,
Right.
with cousins. You know what I mean? That type of synergy. So a lot of that is going to come to the. But I could tell you what was foul. The foul part would have been, why did you even, at three of you, if you had some idea that he was acting erratic, and where was your humanity? Why didn't you look out for him? You know?
Right.
Now that we're on this case, it reminds me of a case that just happened recently in Clayton County. And I'd like us to talk about that case too. But it was some females going out one night. They were going in two cars. One female jumped out of the car in the rear and ran in front of the other car and started dancing.
Mhm.
The female driving that car ran her over,
Correct.
but
I seen
said
that
that
video.
right, but said that she didn't see her or
Right.
whatever.
That's what it was. She couldn't see her.
She couldn't see her, and I think we need to look at that. And now arrest has been made in that case, but it's a case we need to look at and discuss. And because some very very interesting facts to that case are that
Sure.
we probably need to go through, because I don't know why, but this case kind of makes me think about that case for other reasons.
There's another case that reminds me of somewhat similar circumstances, but this happened to be where a group of individuals went to on a vacation together outside of the country. I believe it was in Mexico, and that woman was
Yeah.
killed in
Real
that fight.
popular.
It was super
Hmm.
popular on that end of it. And the reason why, of course, the Mexican government would love to go ahead and charge those individuals for it. Why the U.S. government is a little bit hesitant on that end of it, particularly the FBI. Um, but that even seems like a no-brainer there, that was a
Hmm.
murder.
Now they were all Americans, right? Like they all came
Correct.
back.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
they came back.
Except for the person. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, 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 right,
yeah,
right. And then there's of course there's elements of uh, intercontinent, countries being involved
Hmm.
in what is considered um, justice for one country was considered justice for another.
for another
So
country.
you have
Hmm.
those issues, and I think some of those parts are could be a teaching moment for individuals to know. Not all countries are the same. When you're in Rome, do as the Romans. Don't think that
Hmm.
your privilege here in the United States will go ahead and get you out of jams. You get into other
Hmm.
countries. Singapore is one of them. You come back with 21 lashes.
Hmm.
You come back and from jumping. You're in North Korea and you come back like
Hmm.
Wahlberg. Unfortunately,
Bro,
that happens
even
to him.
worse.
Yeah.
You know what? When I was in Okinawa, and Okinawa's not bad, a beautiful
Mm,
place, right? But something as simple as a car accident. There has been some murders.
mm.
There's been some murders. There's been some Americans that raped some girls over there.
Sure.
Right when I
Sure.
graduated, I was over there as an adult in the military as well. But their whole concept was this: just a car accident. So just imagine any crime above anything that's a crime. This car accident wouldn't have happened if your American butt wasn't here.
Mm,
If it was between an American and a local, that's how they look at that situation. So just
mm,
imagine this girl, it was a young girl that got raped by some Marines. This wouldn't have happened. You guys
mhm.
shouldn't be here. You know what I mean? So
Right.
of course their punishment was even more so harsh. And I can't remember if I'm pretty sure they went to jail
Mm,
in Japan. That happened right when I graduated.
mhm,
And the crazy thing is memory is long. When I went back as an adult, so I graduated when I was 18, I went back there when I was close to 30, 20, 26, 30 years old. The briefing, the in brief, when you get to the base,
mhm.
still had incidents that happened when I was in
Oh
high
yeah.
school.
Mhm,
The family that was killed wasn't purpose, it was a car accident. There was a guy in a car that ran over
mhm,
a Japanese family on the side of the road.
mhm.
That stuff
W-
came up. You know what I mean?
Was
So
he drunk?
international, and it's considered an international. You possibly create an international incident, what they
Yeah,
call an
yeah,
international
incident for
incident.
Yeah.
You
sure.
know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So yeah, yeah.
Was he drunk? Was he driving under the
He
influence
that
when he
that
did it?
particular guy was drunk, and was funny,
Yeah.
man. Jedi kid, it's my homie industry, man. It's a homie that plays instruments on my album. His father, so it's a weird story. My father, his father sold that guy that car. You know what I mean? So I've got the news, and then I've got direct stuff from them when he was questioned and everything. But yeah, he was drunk. I believe it was a Marine, drunk driver, hit the whole family. Yep. And
Yeah.
man, rape incidents. It was a rape incident that, and there was a high schooler that beat up a 80-year-old, 70-year-old store owner just for no reason. I don't know if he stole something from him. And them jokers sat in a Japanese jail in Okinawa, and bro, there's no bed. It's a bamboo floor. You eating fish with the fish head. I don't know if it was raw, but it's probably close to raw. Fish, so you know what I'm saying? And do so much time as the Americans trying to get them out of that situation. You know what I mean? Along the lines of what you guys saying. You going over there, you following their rules. Bro, it's not.
Yeah,
You might be
Hey,
sitting over there.
Hey, let me just say this.
Yeah, this Okinawa.
Oh yeah, Okinawa.
I'm not gonna say I've been around the world. I've been a few places, but I never felt as safe anywhere as I felt in Japan.
Yeah.
When I tell you,
yeah.
Oh yeah, they're nice people, but I'm talking
no
about
knives,
control of the crime,
no guns,
clean.
Oh, clean.
Crime is under control.
It is
so
unreal.
Nice.
It is
Karaoke
unreal.
bars are off the chain. Yo, they're like
Yeah.
clubs. I love Okinawa.
And the food,
Food's
you
off
know,
the
but
chain.
that's another show for another time. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
I enjoy having you guys on. You know, it's good. You know, when you're around Superman all the time, I'm not saying that Superman isn't iconic. You know, but it's good to have some other superheroes around to get another perspective, because you know.
I only come from Superman's perspective on things. So
here we go.
I'm not a James fan.
I thought you were a Jedi Knight. I thought you were a Jedi Knight.
I am Jedi kid. That's my voice.
You remind me of this guy I grew up with. He was the Hulk, Batman, Superman thing, everything all wrapped into one. He took all the superheroes, man.
But see, I'm a sci-fi head, but my main two things that I follow has always been Star Wars and DC or comic books, period. But my main thing over everything has always been Superman. Always been Superman. But I'm a Star Wars head too, so that's why I got.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Superman is.
I could rock some Battlestar Galactica here.
All right. Okay, well, hey Wiz,
it was short. It was short-lived. It was short-lived.
Give it a chance. Star Wars, pretty much.
It was.
Hey Wiz, let's get some more balance on this show. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, man. Batman. Like I said, man, Superman is it for me. I'm gonna lie. Superman is it. But Victor, I've seen Batman more than any 1989 Tim Burton Batman. I've seen that movie more times than any movie ever. Okay. There was days I used to just play it over and over again.
Yeah,
I'm the cornball that's sitting in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Spitting out all the dialogue. So I'm horrible.
Now, right? This month.
It's coming out the end of this month. Next week. Yep. 2 weeks. The end of August.
But,
yeah.
I will
For
say
real?
That,
okay.
Yeah. Got Batman and Batman Returns going to be in the movie, back in the movie theater for one day.
Superman.
Okay.
For sure. That's where it started, man. That's where it started.
This Joker got upset that his girl died in the earthquake and rewound the world.
He reversed time, bro.
Come on,
man.
Bro.
I experienced that one
Batman
in the movie theater.
That?
I experienced that in the movie theater recently, man. That scene in particular, screaming, it was crazy, yo.
Come on,
beautiful.
Man. Like Superman is everywhere, bro.
But you know what Batman did? It took the Adam West.
The
really campiness
messed up Batman for me.
But I love
he did.
I love Cesar Romero.
What a trash era of Batman, though.
No. Cesar Romero was dope as Joker though. Cesar Romero was dope, yo. You go back and watch.
Not even from that show proper, except for Catwoman.
Man, that Batmobile was dope, bro. Ethan, all of them.
That's the only thing that was good.
Batmobile was all right. Come on, my man had
listen.
shark repellent.
You know this is from Super. You never look at Super Friends.
That's trash.
Adam West did the Super Friends.
You know,
voice, man. Come on.
True Batman fans are not really fans of the Super Friends. I mean,
Batman
this
is part of the childhood, though.
Nah, Batman is supposed to be a lone figure out at night catching criminals, not trying to help give Superman guidance, not running around with a little kid. You know what I'm saying?
bro?
Yeah,
well, that's my point.
Have you seen the episode, bro, where Super Friends, bro? Superman was wild for this. He had Batman, Robin. It was Superman, Batman, Robin, and Wonder Woman, right? And they were trying to cross this river. Superman, he stood there while they all were crossing the river. He was waiting on the side.
And he could fly. Yeah, I saw that.
He could have flew across, but he was like, I'm tired today.
And just to save myself,
oh my God.
My point to that is that Tim Burton changed that. The 89 Batman, everything before was all campy
shit. Yeah, I get
bro.
Yeah.
The first person.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton said, y'all probably don't even know this. Michael Keaton did a Clint Eastwood impression when he did the voice.
No.
So you listen to his voice, he's talking like Clint Eastwood.
Oh,
the voice, not the accent or nothing.
Bro,
so he was the first
that.
person to be like, with the costume on, I've got to change my voice.
Wow.
Just that small fact. So so Superman was it, man. Superman brought comic books. Superman let us know it was serious. We're gonna put Marlon Brando. We're gonna put
no.
It did its thing, man. This is how you do it serious.
Right. No. Batman is what brought seriousness to comic books. Unfortunately, Adam West, I think they were trying to create something for kindergartners or whatever.
No, well, that's the comic. That was
trash.
reflective of the comic books at the time. You know what I mean? That's a whole history. The comic book. Y'all want to talk about law? So this is where law comes into play. They had changed the FCC, not the FCC, but the Comic Book Commission. Right? They had created this thing because of Tales from the Crypt comic books.
Yeah.
They made it to where they would tag the comic books to let the parents know that this comic book was clean. And the goal was to make all comic books clean. So that's where you got that era of Superman. And because Superman went through it too. Crypto didn't come from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Well,
so
you
had all
that small era, that silver age.
Right. So Adam West was accurate to the comic books of that, not just that era, but I mean for that 10 years.
That's not Batman.
Yeah. But it did its part. You know what I'm saying? It did its part. You got to give it its credit. It did its part.
With comics back then in the silver age.
They interfered. They interfered.
Because Batman back in the day.
So in conclusion, we've had about 8 shows tonight. We've had the murder.
Got all the subjects.
We here to bring all the shows.
All the subjects.
Mental health for military employees. We also covered gun violence.
Yes.
We covered, and also we covered mental health for school shootings and mental health for serial cheaters like Jerome.
We got
right.
Serial cheating in there.
Right. And so I think we need to, this has been great. I think there's a lot of areas that we scratched the surface that we're going to have to get in and maybe do 30 minutes on this, 30 minutes on that. The attention span is short. So we've exceeded our attention span level.
Yeah.
It's probably time to bring this to conclusion.
Y'all got homework to do.
Right. But I just want to say, man, but I was trying to conclude it before y'all went left field with all the Superman stuff. What I was saying
start talking about no comic book stuff.
You even brought up the wrong subject.
That's the wrong part. At the end to deal with us. That's the wrong thing.
Yeah. And I thought that I had diversity on here, but I see obviously I don't.
No, I'm sorry.
I like it, man. I'm a Batman.
It's good to have y'all.
Hey, bro. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Bro, come on.
We can't.
Can you see
it? Here we go.
There you go, man.
I just made that.
That's awesome.
No, I didn't make this one. This one is this is a McFarlane special.
Oh.
Nice.
McFarlane made you sad. This was nice. Again. He does some stuff good, bro. He does real good comic books.
McFarlane at it again.
Yeah.
Got him again.
That's nice.
So what? They made the head too big. It's supposed to be left side.
Bro, it's like he's like 6'8".
Yeah. It'll fit. Hey, just keep it. Keep it for me. I may need to wear it again at some point.
You need it.
Yeah. I'm keeping that in mind now.
Right. Just in case.
Though after the whole bio bio thing, I'm looking at you being more of a $6 million man director.
Right.
Steve, is it Steve Austin?
Steve Austin. Steve
Hey,
Austin.
that's right.
you
That's right.
going in a different direction for me. I see you running slow motion.
Oh, hey, we gotta have Dr. Farrar on this show. I want you guys on there then, and I want y'all focused.
Oh, yeah, we do.
I don't want him treating y'all for attention deficit disorder. Let's stay focused on
I
the
might need it.
biofeedback
I might need
when we
it.
get
I
that
might
there.
need
You know what I'm
I
saying?
might need
Yeah,
it, man.
yeah.
I might need it.
All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up from here. But I just wanted to say thank you to my guys that just popped in,
No doubt.
and we had a good one, and we're going to want to go ahead and do this again. Keith, just let me know when you're going to bring the good doctor in, and certainly we'll go ahead and get everybody else back in there. And there's more, of the individuals, comic book with friends. So we definitely got to get the rest of the crew in here to go ahead and talk about certain matters.
Absolutely. Bring the Batman folks, man.
Okay.
We'll
go ahead and do that.
Vinny is good. Vinny likes Batman.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right,
guys. Be safe
Hey,
out
guys.
there. We'll be
All right, Jim.
all right.
All right.
We'll just go from
I
there.
enjoyed it.
Next
Absolutely.
time.
You got it, man. Okay, bye.
All right. Good night.